All right. Well, thank you for today's your time today for this matrix overview. We've listened to your feedback and your comments, and we appreciate that. And this is our agenda for today. We're going to start off with some searching tips and a lot of things like that, because there's been a lot of questions and issues, people having trouble searching and things like that. And then search results, saving searches, hot sheets, and so forth here. You can see our outline here. I am recording today's webinar, so feel free to attend or listen to it later. We will post it back inside of Matrix underneath the news and alerts section, so feel free to watch this later or pass the information on to other people who couldn't make it today. And as I just mentioned, this is an email address up here, matrix@riskinc.com. This is one that Stan and I both get access to. So when you respond between Stan and myself, we can reply to your emails. Not just problems that you're having or training issues, but just suggestions altogether. We welcome them, and we want to make Matrix the best system it can be. So feel free to let us know, and if it's something we can do, we will. If it's something that's not, we'll let you know also. But feel free. This is your system, and we want to make it a great one for you. Okay. So with that said, here's our agenda. My name is Keith Hensley, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. There is a question box on the right-hand side on that toolbar, that GoToWebinar toolbar. So at any time, feel free to type in questions. Try to keep it pertaining to our topics that I'm on, and I'm going to start off with searching, some tips and tricks on searching. I may not get to all the questions during the thing, but at the very end, I will definitely look back through. And Stan's online here too, and he can help me answer these questions here. So one of the first things I want to mention on searching, okay, so I'm going to go under search. As you know, we've got all these property types you can search for, and just like with Fusion and ML Exchange, you can do a cross-property search. A cross-property search is basically all property types together. So if I wanted to do a residential, condo, and a multifamily at one time, I would just do a cross-property search, and that way I can pick those 3 property types, or all 7 if I like. And we have that also in ML Exchange and Fusion, but not a lot of people, believe it or not a lot of people realize that or knew that. So I'm just going to go straight in and do a residential search. Under residential search, one of the first things I want to show you is searching by a street name. Okay? If I type in the street name of Maple and I go to my results, I only get listings that are on Maple. Okay? Now I search by street name, so drive or lane or avenue, because avenue is not part of the street name, street is not part of the street name. You'll also notice south is in here. Maple. I didn't search for direction, I just searched for name of Maple. So when you search in by name, you get Maple. Just like when I do a search for a price. If I type in 100 with that check mark there for in thousands, all I get in my results are listings that are exactly $100,000. So when I did my search for Maple, I only get Maple. Well, if I want Maple something, Maple Ridge, Maple Leaf, and I don't really know, but I know it starts with Maple. Here's probably one of the biggest things that might help you, especially when it's involved a name, like a subdivision name or a street name. We need to use an asterisk here, okay? In our old system in Fusion, we always had an operator, which we don't have here in Matrix. Matrix doesn't have these operators because it's a mobile-friendly system. It's got to be used on tablets and iPads and smartphones and things like that, where Fusion, one of the handicaps of Fusion, as great of a system as it was, wasn't mobile-friendly. So by this being a mobile-friendly system, there are some differences here that is kind of out of our control. So by putting the asterisk at the end of Maple, that means I know it starts with Maple, I just don't know what it ends with. So that asterisk there at the end, when I do my search now, I will get everything that starts with Maple. whether it's just Maple or Maplewood or Maple Grove or Maple Leaf or Maple Crest. So put the asterisk on the side of Maple that you don't know. If I put the asterisk on the front side of this, now I don't know what it starts with, so I put the asterisk on that side of it, and now this is saying it ends in Maple. So, and I think to show this off, I need to take out our statuses here. So if I do my search, now you can see listings that are Maple, but red maple, or might be honey maple or sugar maple in here, okay? Belinda, you're logged into Fusion MLS. That is not correct. We are no longer using Fusion anymore. Okay, make sure you log into Matrix. Matrix is our system. So no, do not use Fusion anymore. The website address should be risk.mlsmatrix.com. Okay, so I just saw your question there. So I hope that really helps, and you're going to see a powerful benefit to this here in a moment. So the asterisk on the side that you don't know. Now if I put the asterisk on both sides, that means I don't know what it starts with or I don't know what it ends with. Is this somewhere is the word maple. So now when I do my search, I'm going to get Maplewood, red maple, Maplewood, or Tawawa Maplewood. You notice maple is in the middle. Okay, it's not at the beginning or the end. So by me putting the asterisks on both sides of this, it just shows me that I don't know what it starts with or ends with. This is somewhere there's maple. Now there's also another thing I want to show you here. If I know it's Maple Ridge, but I don't know if there's a space in here or no space in here, what I could do is type in Maple Ridge and use the More button, and then type in Maple Ridge with the space in there. So that way I'm searching for it either way, Maple Ridge, one word or two words. Same thing goes for like First Street. Well, is it First Street or did they spell it First Street like that? So that's an option there that you can search either way for. Do your first or first in there. Hopefully that helps you there. Now, because we use that asterisk now, this is a problem that is solved in Matrix, trying to search for state routes. How do you spell state routes? I mean, some listings, they have it SR 68 or state route 68 or ST period 68. All kinds, US Highway 68. There's all kinds of combinations of State Route 68s or Highway 68s out there. So now that we're using this new system, Matrix, we can use the asterisk and do 68. Oops, sorry about that. Because I'm putting the asterisk on the side that I don't know. I know it ends in 68. I just don't know what it starts with. Is it SR? Is it ST period, RT period? Is it Highway 68, US Route 68, or what? So by doing it this way, and let me put in my actives here, and I'll do contingents too. By doing it this way, when I do my results, you'll notice I found it no matter which way it's spelled. SR, State Route, US Highway, and so forth here. Okay, so that's going to be a huge benefit. But if you notice in my results here, I did get 68, but I also got 3 68s. Well, because they all end in 68. So let me show you another little tip here. If you notice in 368, there's a 3 that comes in front of the 68s. But on the ones that I like, there's a space 68 here. So if I go back to my search criteria and I put in an asterisk space 68 and now I do my search, you'll notice now I only get 68s in here, no matter how they spell the name. So this, I think, is a wonderful new feature that we've gained with Matrix, because in Fusion we never had an ends with. We had a contain 68, but that didn't completely solve the problem. Now the problem is completely solved with state routes and highways and county roads. And that's the same thing goes with county roads or township, like County Road 25A. just do asterisk 25A and go to your results, and you see it that way. Okay? So that's the first thing I really want to make sure you understand is using the asterisks, and that also applies, and I need to move my thing over here a little bit, that also applies in searching by subdivisions. Make sure you use the asterisks in there, otherwise it'll take it exactly the way it's spelled. So you need to make sure you use the asterisks, and the best thing, like asterisk Maple Ridge, asterisk, having the asterisks on both sides is going to produce the most results. So that's definitely something to think of. So subdivisions and street names are probably the two most important fields to use the asterisks. But if I'm talking about numbers like list price, beds, baths, square feet, year built, if I type in just 100, I only get $100,000 houses. If I want more, I need to do a plus sign here. If I want less, I do 100 dash minus. You'll notice if you hover over that question mark, it gives you some examples. 10 means 10, 10-50 is the range, 10 plus is more, and 10 minus is less. So if I want between 100 and 150,000, type it in like that. If I do 100, minus, it just means 0 to 100. And I could have also said 0 to 100 this way also. Same thing with beds. If I say 3 beds, I only get listings with 3 bedrooms. I need to say plus, minus, or a range like that. Okay. Remember, the question mark is here for you, and it helps answer how to do those searches there. Same thing with bath total. Now, I do want to mention baths total here, because you may not have realized yet, hopefully most of you have, but if I want to search for 1.5 baths, we are now doing 1.1 instead of 1.5. So 1.1 means 1 full, 1 half. The reason why is because there are some listings out there that have 2 half baths. So with saying it this way, that would be 1.2, which means 1 full and 2 half baths. So let's say I've got a client, let's say John and Susan, they want a house that has, they want at least 1 and 2 half baths or more. So this way I can just say 1.2 and plus, because they don't want a 1 full bath, and they don't even want a 1 and a half bath, but they'll take anything that's 1 and 2 half baths or greater, and that would be the way to do it. And of course you can use full baths or half baths, but baths total combines full and half into one field, where here they're 2 separate fields, individual fields. So I really like the bath total field here. And the same thing goes when you're searching by square feet. If I only say 2,000 square feet, I only get listings with exactly 2,000 square feet. I need plus, minus, or the range in there. Okay. Same thing with year built, acres, and so forth. If I go to solds over here, if I say solds, you notice it puts in 0 to 180 days back. Well, that's different from Fusion. Fusion, actually, when you pick the status sold, you had to scroll down to another field called sold dates, and you had to pick, either type in the date range, or you pick up another option that says 6 months back, a year back, 9 months back, things like that. Here, we just assume you want 6 months back, but you can still type in 90 days back, 120 days back, which is 4 months, or you can say a year back, which is 365. You could also type in 1/1/16. Now, if you leave it like that, you will only get listings that sold on that one day. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. Because it's a date or a numbers, just like with the price and the beds and the baths, you need a plus sign that gives you everything from that day to today, or a minus sign, which is that day and everything older than that day, or a range, maybe till the end of November here. And that's your range you could do. You can also use the calendar right here. If you open up the calendar, you can go back to your date range and pick them this way by using the calendar. Or you can just type it in like I showed you. Okay, and that works with pendings, also expired listings. You can put in a date range, withdrawns, and so forth there. Okay. Let's see here. So that's the pluses and minuses and the ranges there. I do want to show you, let's see, the garages and some of these other fields. I want to show you the mapping search too. So I'll make sure I show you how to search by map, because that's a great feature. If I pick, notice this, if I pick the field called county, if I pick Auglaize, watch what happens to my area down below. If I pick Auglaize, now my areas change, and it's just those areas that belong to Auglaize County. If I pick Champaign, it's just the 300s and 400s that belong to Champaign County. So it's a parent-child relationship. You pick Champaign, and or you pick the parent, we'll show you the thing. Belinda, you said, just to be clear, I used the sold 15-116. Yeah, Belinda, that would give you everything from January 1st of 2015 to January 1st of 2016. So you could have, maybe you're going one day extra into 16, so you might say 12/31/15, and that would give you the entire year of 15 there. So yes, I think you are correct there. Okay, so there we go. We got that. Okay. Now, if I want to pick multiple areas, you notice when I pick one, the other one goes away. Well, what you need to do is hold down the control button and pick as many as you like in here. Okay, so hopefully that little tip helps you. If I pick the first one and I hold down the shift key and I pick the last one, it picks everything in between. But if I pick the first one and hold the control button and hit the last one, it only picks those two. So a shift does everything in between, and a control does just the ones I click on. Now if you click on one, and let's say I want to get rid of it. Let's say I accidentally clicked on 030 North Springfield, and I want to get rid of it. Well, if I'm clicking it again, it won't go away. But if I hold down my control and click on it, then it goes away. And you notice this box is white, but as soon as I pick something, it becomes a shaded blue here. So that way, if I scroll down way down here, I can see I've got something in here just by the color of it. It's a shade of a blue, so I know I've got something picked in here, and you can see up here that I do. So if I go up here, hold down my control button and unselect it. Now I will say, if you're on your phone or on your tablets, Android or iPads or phones, smartphones, which yes, you can get into Matrix on your phones. Don't know if you know that, so maybe at the end I can show you that if you need to or want to. If you are on your phones, you don't have a control button, or on your tablets you don't have a control button. So there you just click it, it selects it, clicks it, it goes away. So there it's a little simpler for you. Over here, something like garages. You notice if I say to car, I've got an or down here. If I change it to not and I leave it on to car, that means I don't want a two-car garage. I'll take anything else. Well, maybe I'd say one-car garage. I'll take anything but a one-car garage. So I'll take a two-car, three-car, four-car. Now, I may not also want a carport, and I may not also want a no-car garage. So I might want to pick all three of those. No garage, carport, and one-car garage, and say not. So that means I'll take anything else out there. Or I could have said this. I could have said a two-car, hold down my control button, pick three-car, four or more here, and then say or. If I say or, now it's a two-car or a three-car or a four-car. Now be careful, because if I say and, it's got to have a two-car garage and a three-car garage and a four or more car garage, which I don't think we're going to have any out there. Okay. So I just want to mention that to you there, that that be careful with and. So I could say this. I could say two-car garage and, let me put this here, and attached garage. Now I'll get all listings what the listing agent actually told us they wanted a two-car and attached garage. Okay. So that's what the and, ors, and not means. Same thing goes down here on level and style, foundation, heating and cooling, and all these options here. Okay. The most popular one is just leave it on or. Or is the most inclusive. So if you pick, leave it on or and you pick multiple stuff, you'll get all that stuff there. If I scroll down, you'll notice that we may not have every field on here, but as you scroll down, we've got some a section down here, additional fields, where you can add more fields. Now I've already added some fields down here. So let me hit add remove, and I'm actually going to get rid of these here real quick here. There we go. So when you come down, you may not have added any other fields. So yours is going to say additional fields, and all you need to do is click add. So if you click add, now what you could do, you could add some fields such as special features. I think that's a good one. You could add another one, maybe ownership. Add that one. And whatever else that you'd like to search for. Now the nice thing about Matrix is that once you add these fields and you hit the back button, they are permanently in your search, where Fusion, it did not save those searches there, or save your fields. You'd have to come back in and keep adding them over and over again. Now special feature and ownership is always in my search list until I take it out. Here you'll notice you know, special features is where you can do lakefront properties, lake-related, lake view, channel, pond, and then you got some, you know, study, office. You got like bedrooms and bathrooms on the first floor. You got ownership, things like this, bank-owned, foreclosure, stuff like that. Okay, so you can add more fields to there. Okay, let me hit clear. I'm going to clear everything out of my search criteria. Let's do a map search here. You'll notice when you're doing a map search, as long as this is blank, everyone gets confused. They see this up here. They'll see 0.25, a quarter of a mile of. If there's nothing in there, that means you're not using the map search. So a lot of people think they pick Champaign County, but because that says a quarter of a mile, they think it means a quarter of a mile of Champaign County. And that's not the case, okay? This is only quarter mile of whatever you type in here. And if there's nothing in there, then you are not using the map search. This quarter of a mile doesn't mean anything, okay? So I just want to get that confusion out of there. So if I do want to do a radius, let's say 2 miles of, now what you can do here, you can do a 2 miles of an address, 2 miles of an intersection of town. You can do 2 miles of an MLS number, and you might even be able to do parks and golf courses and hospitals, but a lot of times you have to spell it exactly the way the map has it on the map, but I have seen that work, so you might play around with that. So what I'm going to do is do 1087 North Market. The new financing field, Cheryl, yeah, I can show you that after this, Cheryl. I'll talk about it here. But that should be in that list. That should be in that list down below, Cheryl. So if I do 1087 North Market Street, 2 miles, after I type that in, I hit my enter button, it'll come up and it'll say, well, did you mean Troy, Ohio or Liberty, Indiana? Well, I meant Troy, Ohio. So now I've got active contingent 2 miles of Troy, Ohio. If I hit the map search button, there's my 2 mile radius of Troy, of this address. Now you notice it's on the satellite view here, and that's because I last changed it. It should be on automatic up here. What automatic means is as you zoom in closer, it's going to automatically switch to like a satellite view or a bird's eye view. See right there? And as I zoom back out, it'll automatically switch to the map view. but you can come over here and actually say, nope, I always want the map view, or always give me the bird's eye view. But here I'm going to leave it on automatic. So I did 2 miles of, so if I go back, you notice 2 miles of this address. I hit map. You'll notice here's all those listings here. Green is active or contingent. Orange would be pending. Red would be sold. In fact, there is a legend over here in the bottom right-hand corner that tells you the color codes for these property types. Okay, and that was right down here called legend. Okay, and just FYI, since I'm here, if you want to print this off, if you come out, see when I have my cursor on top of the map, if I move it just off of the map, right here in this dead space or down below, off of the map, and then I right click, I can print, save it as something. So I can print this out or save it as. So once you get your map set just right, you can print that off if you like to. And there is another way you can print the map too, and I'll show you that one here in a second. But since I did 2 miles, let's say I really wanted 1.5 miles, or I really wanted 2.5 miles. What I could do is grab this edge of the circle and grab this and move this out to however far I want. And you can see the radius changing. Or I can make it 1.5 miles right there. I'm just going to make it 3 miles here. Okay. There we go, 3.2, that's 0.2, that's okay. Then I can zoom out a little bit. So there's my new radius there, and I can keep playing with this. What else I can do is up here is I can do another circle or radius. I can do a rectangle, or I can do a polygon. If I click on polygon, now what I can do is I can draw another shape. Let's say anything on the west side of I-75 here, I do not want, or they do not want to live for whatever reason. Or let's say I'm doing a CMA, and all the houses I want in my CMA needs to be on this side of the highway, because on the other side of the highway it's a different type of neighborhood, and I don't want to include that in my CMA. So by me drawing a polygon here, I can hover over that and I can say exclude that shape. And now I just eliminated anything on that west side of the highway. So one more time, let me delete that shape. Just go up to your polygon up here. Notice it turns gold. And then I can just click, and then it doesn't really matter where I click at over here, as long as I'm outside of that little half circle there. Just click, click. Now how do I end this? I end it by clicking on the red dot. That ended it. Now you notice it's light blue. That means I'm getting listings in that shape. And I can still come in and move this around if I need to, but I want to hover over that red dot and say exclude listings in that shape. And if you really, really want to fine-tune this, let's say not just the highway, I want to be on the other side of the river. I mean, you could actually just come in here and get this and make it on the other side of the river and just really customize this as much as possible here. So if you want to be very, very detailed on your searching on the maps, I mean, you can have all kinds of fun with this here. Okay, and you notice as I'm doing this, other listings are dropping off in the background. Okay, so that's the map, and that's the power of the map out there. Kathy, you said, okay, if I did a search, I did an address here, but you said, what if you have a parcel number? That might work too, Kathy. I don't really know for sure. I'm going to make a note of that. Parcel number. I'm going to try it later. I won't try it now, but for all, please feel free to try that, Kathy. I did make a note here. If it doesn't work, I'm going to ask and see if we can make it work, because I thought I've seen it work somewhere before. So, I appreciate that comment there, and I'll play with it. Or if you happen to play with it now, let me know if it worked or not for you, but I'll try it too later. Okay, so that's the map there. Now I do want to show you, we got additional tools to help you map. If you notice, that's your broom, which clears everything out. If I hit this layers thing up here, I can turn on zip code boundaries. Okay. Now you can see all the zip code boundary lines. I can turn on city, county. I can turn on school districts. Now you can see where all the school districts are. You can turn this on. We even got elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools you can turn on. Okay. Now, please don't take this for definite because these are just what we believe to be the best school district lines out there. You still might need to check. Okay. Belinda, what exactly did you want me to do again? Was it the boundaries up here? Okay, the overlays. That's where you can turn this on and turn on the zip codes. That's right up here, right just to the right of that, yeah, the boundaries. Thanks, Belinda. Okay, so that's what that is up there. Okay. And then we also have this jump to address. If you open this up, you can jump right to Bellefontaine. You can jump right to Troy. You can jump right to St. Mary's. You can jump right to Urbana and things like that, or jump right to, you can type in an address up there and it'll take you right to that map area. One last thing here. Let me jump to, let's go back to Troy here. Let's say every time you open up the map, it's in this Troy area and you don't like that. Well, what you can do is you can move this up. Let's say you're up here by Grand Lake, St. Mary's, or Salina area, and you want this to be your default map. Or you're over here at Indian Lake and you want this to be your default map when you first open it up. Once you get it to where you like it, if you go up to this little gray wheel up here, just to the right of jump to address, you can set that as your starting defaults. And then by clicking that, every time you open up the map, it'll be this map and not what the default was. And I'm going to go back and restore the default back to where it was. Okay. Okay, that's the map search there. And then Cheryl, you did ask about the new financing field. So if I scroll down here, I could add a field and call it, type in new, and there it is, new financing. Add that field, go back, and it's always going to be down here at the bottom, and I will never have to keep adding that field over and over again. It's always going to be there until I go up and I remove it. Okay, thanks, Cheryl. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, that's a lot of searching tips. I really hope that answers. Oh, one more thing, you guys. Watch this. Every time I go to search and I click on residential, you notice we got active and contingent always here. Okay, what you could do, you could say, you know what, I don't like contingent always to be in there. I just want active. Not just active, but I'm always searching for listings in Clark County. I want that to be my default. I don't want to have to keep taking this out and picking that in here. Well, what you could do is go up to this little wheel, settings wheel, like I showed you on the last screen on the map, and set that whatever criteria that you have right here and set it as your starting defaults. So by clicking on that, now when you log in and you go to residential search, I don't have to take out contingent and I don't have to keep adding Clark in my county list. It's already there for me. Now, I can take out Clark for this one-time search, but most of the time I like Clark County already there, or maybe certain areas or whatever. Okay, I just want to show you, you can set your, I'm going to reset mine back to the default there. Okay, hope that answers. Okay, next, after you do your search, once you go to search results, and by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, up here below your name, we have recent searches. We remember your 50 most recent searches here. So I've only ran a handful today. Other ones I ran were yesterday. I ran some yesterday. And if I hit view 50 here, I can view the 50 most recent searches that I ran. And here you go. You can see them. And if I hover over one, it tells me what the search criteria was, the time of day, the day and time that I ran this. So if you ran a search yesterday or 2 days ago, you can just very quickly click on it and boom, there you go. It pulls it back up from your past history. Now recent means 2 weeks. So if it's outside of 2 weeks, it'll drop off. Or if it's past number 50, 50th search that you did becomes 51st, it drops off also. Okay. Fusion never had that. Fusion never had the recent searches up here. So I think that was kind of cool to point out. Okay, so whenever you do your search and go to results, and I'm just going to do a search here. Yes, I will get in the hot sheet, Angie. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I just do a search here for, let's say, Troy, and I put in a price range of 100 to 150, I go from criteria to results. Now, one of the nice features about Matrix versus Fusion or MLexchange was you could never use the back button. Okay? You can use the back button now in Matrix, except for this spot right here. Okay? Everywhere, see up here, there's a back button up here. You can use that back button as much as possible, but if you do your search criteria and get the results and then use your back button, it will take you back to your criteria, but you'll lose your search criteria. Remember I had 701 in here? Remember I had 100-150? Well, that's the only spot that when I do my search and I go to results, the back button is the only time, this is the only time you don't use the back button. Everywhere else though, you can use the back button. Now, why would you want to use the back button here? Because here's how you go back. You're on the results tab, just go to the criteria tab and then to the results tab. So it's really, don't really need it, the back button there. But just to show you, that's there. And I don't know why. Actually, sometimes it does work. I will say that. So I think it's a browser setting, and your browser sometimes loses that history there. Now, so as you're doing your search, now you're on this grid. It's called the Agent Single Line Grid. And if you open this up, you'll notice you have several other reports and displays. We call these displays here, and we'll get to these here too, because there's some things I want to mention to you about them. You'll notice that you got some icons. So the first icon over here is the pictures. And hopefully you know in Matrix you can add bigger photos, higher quality photos. And you notice I can tell right away that this listing was added, or this photo was added in Fusion, because it does not take up the entire white box up here. Okay, so let me try this other one here. Notice it's a 400,000 number. That should be with Matrix, okay, because it's a newer number. It's up in a 400,000. So if I click on that one, okay, well this one would take it up. It's just when they uploaded the photo, it was more wider than it was taller, but normally it should take up the entire box in here, okay. But we are taking higher quality photos now than what we ever did before. And reason why you're seeing this on the white space on each side here, the reason why is just because the listing agent in this case took it sideways, long ways, portrait, instead of long ways like this. That's how most of your photos are. But you know what? I mean, in some cases, you know, like hallways, I mean, that's really hard to take at a wide angle because there's just walls on the side. So sometimes you have to take it this way. So I just want to mention that there too. Yeah, I see your question there, Belinda. Get back to the list. Belinda, when I open that up, I just hit the X right here and it closed it down. So whenever you open something, just hit the X and closes it down. Now the next icon here is the map. It opens up that listing in the map view. And for whatever reason, it's back on, there we go, automatic. What you can do, I don't know if you noticed this yet, if Google has been on this street and did a street view, you can click on Google Street View here, and get the listing view here and see the listing on the street view. If this is my listing, I forget which one I clicked on. Let's do Berkshire here. If Berkshire is my listing and I open up the map and I click on Google Street View, if this is my listing and I don't like the street view because it needs to be more centered like this, or maybe it's looking at the wrong house. Maybe the right house is actually over here. I can go into my listing and edit it and fix it and correct this. So that's a tip I want to show you when I go into adding and modifying listings there. Okay, but it has to be your listing, obviously. If I scroll in here, you'll notice that we see the parcel boundary lines. Well, if I just click on it, it shows me the address and the owner's name. I can do that on any property. Click on it and see the address and the owner's name. Then if I click on lot dimensions, it actually shows me the lot dimensions too. The square footage of the lot, and I can click on this one and click on lot dimensions there too. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And I believe if you just right click, you can save it or copy it. I don't see a print button here, but that's might be because of my browser. Okay, so your browser, you might have a print button, but at least I can save it or copy it and then paste it somewhere. Okay, those are two icons. If I scroll over, actually it's kind of hard to see here because I need to move my bar out of the way. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing these on the far right hand side. What you can do is move these icons over, because there's some more icons way over here to the right. And let me move some of these over here to the left. Well, there's one that says history. Another one is a virtual tour. Another one is your attachments. Over here on the right hand side, we got tax. Okay, let me pull tax over here. So what you can do is just gives you more ability, just like in Fusion. You can see the history of the property. You can see the property disclosure forms, the attachments there, if they have any. And you can see the tax records, which takes you right into the tax sheet there, tax card. Okay, very similar to Fusion and ML Exchange. Let me move this back over here. So with that said, yes, you can move these columns around and put them wherever you like them at. Maybe you like the list price on the other side of address. You can actually click on any field and remove that column. Click and remove. Oop, I just got rid of address there. Okay. Yes, I can add it back. Add columns? Absolutely. That are not shown in there? Yes, absolutely. Like year built? Absolutely. What you do is click, and instead of remove, you're going to insert or add a column. So when you do this, now I want to add address back, street address, and now it's there. Now I can move it there. Now be careful. See right here, the 4 arrows, that's where you grab it, hold down your left mouse button and drag it there. Okay? If I click right here, if I click on that, that's going to sort it alphabetical. And if I click on it again, it's going to sort it the opposite alphabetical order. Okay? If I click on price, I can sort it lowest price to highest price. Click it there, I can do highest price to lowest price. You can click on and sort it by almost any column that you see up here. So so once again, if I go up to address and I hit inserts, I can do year built, and I can add year built, and see year built is right here. Now I can put it where I like it at. So just by clicking inserts and then searching for that field, you can add it there. Okay. Now, once you rearrange this and you add the fields, it's very important that you save this, because if you don't save it, you're going to lose it, and you're going to have to add those fields again and again. So once I move this around and I added year built and I put stuff here, up here where it says single line, agent single line, 25 per page, which I can change it to 50 or 100 listings per page. If I go to this piece of paper right there, Manage Display. If I click on that, I can give it my own name and call it My View. Then if I hit Save as a copy, now it's called My View. So you notice I didn't have to put My in there because we already throw in My in front of it. So everything you created is called My This, My That View display. Then these are the regular ones. So once I saved it and I gave it a name, you might want to think about using the little gadget, the little gear over here, and then you can make that your starting defaults right here. So every time I do a search and I go to results, this is my single line display, not the agent single line that they told me I had to use. So I can make this my own out there. Okay, I'm going to reset it back to the beginning. Now if you've got some in here like this and I want to get rid of this one, just click on it, go to that piece of paper and hit delete single line, and now I got rid of it, and I can delete, highlight that or select that one and then go back here and delete it also. Okay, so that's how you can, if you accidentally made one, I can do. Okay, so let's see here. Now I've filtered. Now watch this. If I select, this is another very common question a lot of people ask. If I select 5 houses here, notice up here it says 5, but I got 15 total. How do I hide the other ones here? Well, down here you'll notice I have actions where I can do back to criteria, email, print them, CMAs, directions. I have refine, I have save, and I have carts. Well, under refine, by me picking those 5, I can say narrow and narrow those down to just those 5 houses, not 15 of them there. Okay? Then I could use my back button and bring all 15 back. Or I could pick those 5 and discard them. And now I'm only looking at the 10, and I got rid of those 5 because I don't like those 5 there. Okay? So I wanted to show you that there too. And then I can hit undiscard, and it brings those 5 back. So the refine is a neat option there. Under action, if I go to action, and let's say I pick those 5 houses, or just 5 in total, now I can hit email, and I can email those 5 listings to, let's say, John and Susan Smith. I can blind carbon copy me. I could hit this 2 box here and type in, pick one of my clients in my contact list, or I can add a new contact here. Okay, but I'm going to send this to John and Susan Smith, blind carbon copy me. I'm going to give it a title here. I'm going to call it 5 listings for you. Here are those listings for you. Okay, and then as I scroll down, you'll notice it has my email signature down there, which I hope everyone's customized their signature. I will try to show it to you near the end, and I'm going to send this. So those 5 listings were just sent to my client, and they will receive it in their portal, and I'll show you how that looks like here in a minute. If I pick those 5 listings, instead of emailing them, I could hit the print button here. Okay, so if I do the print button, then what I could do, I could print those 5 listings in a detail view. I can print those 5 listings in the client view. I could use those 5 listings, Belinda, in the 1004 MC reports that you just asked me about there. Okay, so all you do is your search, select the listings you want, maybe all of them, hit the print button, and then use your 1004 MC reports, one of the 2 here, and do the print to PDF, and you'll see exactly it's that 1004 MC spreadsheet right there for you. So in Fusion or MO Exchange, you always had to export those out into that Excel spreadsheet for the 1004 and use it there. Now you don't have to. You're welcome, Belinda. And yes, I will get into the CMAs also. Okay. So yes, the 1004 MC is and that's for the appraisers. For those that are on this and don't know what a 1004 MC is, that's for appraisers out there. If I select those 5 listings and I go to print, I can select the first one, hold down the second one, and print more than one listing at a time. Print here, okay? If I pick, let me just do the client detail here. And now there's 2 print buttons down here. Please listen up if you don't know this yet. I really encourage you, Stan and I both encourage you to use the print to PDF button here. You can try it yourself, print these 5 listings in the PDF and then print it this way, and you tell us which way you like it. I think you're going to have cleaner results if you do the print the PDF. If you hit the print button, it uses your browser's printing button or printer settings, and we don't know what that is, and we don't control that. But if you use the print the PDF, it first converts it to a PDF file, and we have somewhat of a say on printing this to make it look cleaner and stuff like that. Okay. Now we've been getting a lot of feedback from you guys, and you notice here. I think I'm hiding something up here. Yes, I am. My Zoom. How can I? Oh, my Zoom's right here. If you notice this page, you notice there looks like a lot of empty space here, okay? So what we're going to work on, we've heard you, we listened to you, and we do appreciate those that have emailed us or commented in the survey. I agree with you. There's a lot of wasted space here. So we're going to try to make this bigger, the fonts, and make it fill up the entire page. Now we got to be careful with this because some listings might have a ton of information, and we don't want the listings to print on 2 pages. So we're going to try our best to make it the best as possible and fill up the page, make the fonts bigger, easier to see. But the whole thing with Matrix versus Fusion was that Fusion was not mobile friendly. So we could control the printing. But with Matrix is mobile friendly, so we cannot control the printing. We kind of can, but we not completely can. So our hands are kind of tied when it comes to printing, but I definitely agree we need to make this bigger and fill up the page a little better because it looks kind of empty and bare. But I want to show you one more little trick here to fill this in, make it look a little nicer too, okay? Belinda, you might want to email Stan about where's the sold dates and price and financing. Now this is the client view here, okay? So Belinda, you may not use this client view for your stuff. So if I go up here, you might want to pick the agent detail view, okay? And I'm going to address this, what I'm doing right here. Belinda, you're going to pick the agent detail view, and this should give you the sold date and sold price information on here. And see, even here we can fill this in a little bit more. So Belinda, if we're missing anything here, that might be something you email Stan about and let him know. And if we're missing something, we definitely can add that stuff there to you. Okay. So let me show you this. When you pick on agent detail, and this is a little issue that is with Matrix, and we're going to fix this coming up soon. When you pick on agent detail, you notice all these boxes are selected: listing, matching property history, history, photos, and tour. So if I go to hit print on this, it's going to print all 5 of those pages for each listing because I had them all selected there. So if I scroll down, you're going to see there's the photos, there's the listing and the photos, and I think the history was on there too, I believe, if I go down far enough. Yeah, see, there's the history right there, and photo gallery and all that stuff there. So if I didn't want that, what I should have done is get rid of the photos, get rid of the open houses, get rid of the history, and all that stuff. What we're going to do in the next, there's going to be a little update here, hopefully soon, that when you pick on agent detail, the only thing that will be selected will be listing, okay? And then you will have to say, I want that also and that and that, and because we've been getting some calls on that. So so know that is coming as a fix, but right now when you select detail, it picks everything here for agent detail, and it's only the agent detail. If I pick the client detail, you notice it's not there, but if I pick the agent detail, now it's all there, and I have to unselect all those, unless I want them, okay? So that is something we know about and we need to fix. Now watch this. If I pick the agent detail view, like I showed you, it looks like this, and let me zoom out a little bit there, okay? But let me go back. If I say print header up here and footer with the banner, and now I pick this, now it's going to throw in my banner here at the top and the full view. So when we customize these reports and make them bigger fonts and fill up, we need to make sure that we still have enough space to put the banner up here, because this is something you could do when you print this out and give it to your clients, is have your little banner here at the top. It gives it a little more of a professional look. So I will, like I said, try to show you here when we start the question and answers, how you get your banner up here. Hopefully you've already done it, but I will show you how to put that up there, okay? So all that was done was by me putting a check mark right here, print header and footer. I could also say, yes, print the search criteria, and don't print any pictures, things like that, okay? So that's an option. But please use the PDF, print the PDF view there, okay? You could try the regular print button, but I recommend to print the PDF. Let's see here. We do have a map view. So if I pick on map view, remember I showed you the one way you could print the map? Well, this will print those 5 listings right here. And if you scroll down, we got the 5 listings down below. So that's very similar to what we had in Fusion. A lot of people didn't know how to do this here in Matrix. That's how you do it here in Matrix there. Okay. Amy, you did say when printing to PDF, if I print the client view and say the gallery, if I have several houses chosen, it prints the client detail first for all the houses and then the gallery for all the houses. I have to go back in PDF, hit organize pages. Is there a way? Yeah, I see what it's not. If I think of this correctly here, Amy, it's not collating, I believe. Is there a way to print multiple client detail gallery under each house? Right. Exactly right. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, what Amy's question was, if she says client detail and print with rollouts, or rollouts means, you know, the additional photos underneath, or if she says agent detail and she says listing and photos, what happens? You notice I got 5 here. When she prints this out, it's going to do the 5 listings in the detail view, I believe. Let's test this here. One listing, well, there's the gallery, and then the second listing, and then the gallery. So Amy, I think you might have done it the other way. Okay, so that might kind of help you here, but you'll also notice there's another problem. See, right here at the end of that listing, it starts the photos on the same page. I think there needs to be a page break here. I think the photos need to start on the second page, and that is a known issue that we're seeing if we can work on there, but not if you print the client with gallery rights. Okay, so if I go to client detail and do the rollouts, this is what Amy is talking about here. If I scroll down, there's that listing. No, there's still got the galleries there. And then the next listing, and then the galleries. Maybe I'm missing something, Amy, on your question. I didn't do rollouts, I did gallery. Okay. Oh, you did that one? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Client detail and gallery right there. There you go. Thanks, Amy. My bad. She did this. She did client detail and gallery. So now when you print this here, she didn't do rollouts. I got her. I got the. And you know what I need to do? I need to take out the rollouts. So try rollouts, Amy. That might help. But I still think we need a page break there, to where the photos start on its own on the second page, not pick up where the last one left off. So if she just picks those 2 and does print the PDF, you're going to see now what she's talking about. There might be something down the road that's going to address this, Amy. I don't know for sure, but this is something we cannot fix. See, right, what it's going to do is going to print all 5 listings first in the client detail, and then after that, it's going to do all 5 listings in the gallery view. And what she wants each listing with the gallery view immediately after that, and that's like collating. I don't know if we can do that. I doubt it. I really do, but I do think that is something that is in the works. Okay? Apologize for that, but I do appreciate your comments. Now, let me say this. If I pick those 5 listings, okay, thanks, Amy. If I pick those 5 listings, I could email those. Remember I did email? But when I email those 5 listings, it's going to go to the client on their portal, which I recommend. I think that's what you want to do. But you can send those 5 listings, hit the print button, choose the report that you like, maybe with your banner or your header at the top, and instead of printing them, you could email those 5 listings and not have it on their portal, but just those 5 individual listings as a client detail view. Okay, so you can email those, and it's not on their portal. It's just those 5 reports. Okay, so there is a way to do that, because some people said, well, every time I hit email, it always sends it to their portal, and then on their portal, they've got the option of what reports to look at, which I agree. I think you want that, but there is a way to get around that portal, but it's under the print button, and then pick your reports and email it. Okay. One more thing. Let me go back to my recent searches. Let me pull that search back up again. Should you refine? I'm going to go to save next, and then carts. If I pick those 5 listings, let's say those are 5 listings I'm going to go show John and Susan today. Well, I could throw those into John and Susan's carts right here. Okay, they have no listings in their cart. A cart is a folder for me. It's my folder. Kind of wish we would call carts a folder, but they're called carts. So if I have 5 listings selected and I pick John and Susan's name here and I hit add to cart, those 5 listings are now in their carts. So if I go up to my contacts and I go to contacts up here and I look for John and Susan Smith right here, you're going to notice I can open their carts. And here are those 5 listings that I put in their carts. And then after the showing, I can come in here and click on the notepad and say showed on 12/7, and they didn't like it. Okay, didn't like, and add that note. And then I can come up here and type in the same thing, make notes. So the cart is for me. By me emailing those listings to John and Susan, it's on their portal. So the portal is how you put listings out there for your clients to see. Cart is for me to keep track of out there. So we never had a cart or a folder system in Fusion. Actually, well, Fusion, we had one folder, and you had to put everyone's listings in there. Well, here you got a cart for every contact that you have. Now I'm just going to use my back button here, and it takes me right back to the carts here. So I really like the cart system. You don't have to use this, but it's a way that you can dump listings in someone's cart. Okay. Okay, and then one thing here I also want to show you, you can pick those 5 listings, hit directions, and here's driving directions to those 5 houses. And it puts it in the best driving order for you. As you scroll down, here's all those houses and driving distance, and it even tells you estimated drive time 32 minutes with the current traffic conditions 44 minutes. I could email those, print those out. I can add my own start and stop, because maybe I want to start at their house or start at my office. So I can add my own, and I can just grab these houses and put them in my order. Maybe I think, my order is better than this computer's order. So then I can hit directions again. It'll recalculate the order, and there's my new order. Okay, so I like driving directions. I think that's pretty cool. And all I did there was pick those houses and hit directions. Okay, well, let's save a search. Let's get into the auto prospecting searching. We had a lot of questions on that part. So if we have a client, John and Susan, and they want me to do a search for them, and they want me to auto email them every day. So as soon as something comes on the market, email it to them right away. Or if it changes price or changes status, email them right away so they know what's going on. That way I don't have to manually do this. So what I'm going to do is I could go to my matrix and go to contacts first. And if I scroll down here at the bottom, there is an add button where I can add a new client. First name, last name, and they must have an email address. Now, if they don't have an email address, you can just give them your email address, but they have to have an email address. In fact, you can do up to 5 email addresses for each contact. Put a comma after that. Okay? So you could add that contact first. But let's say I don't. Let's just say I'm in a hurry and I just go and do my search for John and Susan. I could say, okay, they want something in Troy. They want something, let me move this down out of the way here a little bit. They want something between 150 and 200,000 with at least 3 bedrooms or more. As they do their search, it looks good. They go from criteria to the results tab, and I think the search looks good. They want me to save this for them. So I come down to actions and I change it to save, and now I've got actually 3 choices. I'll not talk about the speed bar yet. I can save this as a search or save it as an auto email. Up here under My Matrix, we have auto emails and saved searches. Well, do I want to save this as a saved search or as a new auto email? Let me explain the difference between these two. A saved search, actually technically they are both, you notice they're under save. So when I hit save, I'm saving it. So they're both a search that I'm saving. These are inactive searches that are not auto prospecting. These are searches that are auto emailing. These are the active searches that are actively sending stuff to your clients. Okay? So if I go to save and I hit save search, it's going to ask me who to give it a name and pick the person it goes to and save it. But there's no action to it. It is not emailing new matches on a daily basis for them. It's just saved. It's not doing anything. That's where it's inactive. If I do want it to auto prospect or auto email, then I use this option, new auto email. So then I pick my clients. If I forgot to add John and Susan to my list, I can add them right here too if I forgot. And by the way, you can hit show all fields and type in their kids' names, spouses' names, their street number, street name, notes, and then save them here. But I already had John and Susan in my list here. So let me do John and Susan Smith. Okay. Now this contact enabled because the contact has at least one other active search. Initial email will still be sent, but the contact will. Okay. I've already got an auto email for them, and they've already accepted it. So that's what that message is up there for me. So there's no problem. In fact, that's why it's in green, because it's just FYI. So then I can give it a name. Now John and Susan could have multiple searches. Okay, they've already got one for Troy and they've already got one for Piqua. Let's say this one's for Tip City. Okay. Well, there's a welcome message and a recurring message. The welcome message has a message already set to have, you know, a default message there. But if you don't like our message, you can take out any and all of it and then type in your own message here. If you like your message better than our message and you permanently want to lock it down, remember our little friend, that little settings wheel? You can set that as your default welcome message and you won't have to type your message in again. I'm actually going to restore it back to the normal way. Then there's a recurring email. Once they see this first welcome message back over here, they won't see it again. Now they'll start seeing new messages here. So here you got a little basic message, but if you don't like that message, you can just take this out and type in your own message again and lock it down as your message and don't have to type it again. Now let's restore it there. And once again, it's throwing in my email signature, so hopefully you've already updated your signature, and I'll show you how to do that if you need me to. I can send this to them ASAP, so as soon as it finds a new match, boom, send it to them. Or just once a day in the morning, or once a day in the evening, or twice a day, or once a month. And you notice, let me scroll back up here real quick. You notice that I am having it copy me too. So it's going to John and Susan, but it's going to copy me also. I don't have to do that if I don't want to. That's up to you. Now we do have this thing called a concierge mode. Remember this, okay? So for John and Susan, I'm just going to say ASAP. Send it to them ASAP. And when I hit save, boom, they got sent an email. And once they open it, they'll start getting matches as soon as possible, as soon as they get new matches there. Now, if I go up to My Matrix and I go to Contacts and I type in Smith up here, here's John and Susan Smith. If I open this up, you notice I've got 3 searches for them now, auto emails. And notice the recent one I just did for them, Tip City, there it is. It's already in there. I already had 2 other ones in there, Troy and Piqua. I could also go up to My Matrix and go to Auto Emails. And notice I've got 3 John and Susan Smith right here. Notice the color codes over here. The white means that the client has not clicked on it yet. See over here for Sandy? She has not opened it yet. Same thing with Jay and John over here. They have not opened it yet. So we're waiting for them to open it. They've got 30 days to open that link. Okay? Now, I'm not going to wait 80 days. So when I sent that to John and Susan, and if they had not opened it yet, they've got 30 days to open it. Now, I might check in a day or 2 and see if they've opened that search. If it's still white, I might want to give them a call and say, John, do you want me to resend that message to you? Because I notice you haven't opened it yet, and I could resend it to him, okay? But after 30 days, if he hasn't opened it, it will get shut off. It'll turn red. That's what that means. But as soon as he clicks it, it becomes green. Now that message that I did for John and Susan when I saved that search called Tip City, it told me I already had 2 other searches for John and Susan, and they've already opened it. So that message that you saw told me that because they already opened up the other ones, this one is already opened up too for them because they've already accepted it. So that's what that message was telling me back there. Now once they click it, it opens. Now John and Susan, they have 80 days to look at this search. All they have to do is any email I send them, the recurring email with new matches every day, as long as they open up one of them in an 80-day period, they'll get 80 more days. So these searches will never turn off as long as they're actively looking at just one of them within 80 days. So they'll go on forever and ever. In Fusion and ML Exchange, they had 90 days, but no matter what, they got shut off automatically at 90 days. So in this situation, they may never expire, where in Fusion, they always expired no matter what. So as long as your clients are looking at them once in 80 days, they'll never get shut off, okay? So there's actually 2 time frames. 30 days, do you open up the initial welcome message? And then once they open it, it turns green, and now they got 80 days. And it'll keep extending as long as they look at it there, okay? So that was under My Matrix and Auto Emails. Under My Matrix, remember the difference? Saved searches are just searches that are saved that are not auto prospecting. Auto emails are auto prospecting. Now, once John and Susan, let's say John and Susan want to take a timeout, or in fact, let's go to Jay here. Let's say Jay wants to take a time out. Maybe he lost his job. Maybe it's not a good time for him to buy a house. Well, what you could do is put a check mark here, and I don't want to delete that search because he just wants to take a time out. I could just disable it. In fact, instead of Jay's, let me do John's down here. Let me disable it. When I hit OK, it is now stopped. So I disabled it. I stopped it. It's still considered an auto email, an active email, but it's not auto prospecting anymore. Okay. Let's say he wants me to start it back up. He found another job. Life is good. So I just click on it. I go to settings. You notice it's disabled. I disabled it. So if I scroll down just a little bit here, I can enable it and save it again. And now it's turned back on. Okay. See right there, it's turned back on. It's actually, that one was actually under the concierge mode. So I need to show you what the concierge mode is here. Okay. Let's say John bought a house. Do I still want to keep sending him auto emails with new matches showing him what he could have bought if you would have waited instead of buying that house? Probably not. So you're going to probably want to stop this permanently. So there's 3 ways to do this. You could select it and delete it, and it's gone. It's permanently gone. You could select it and disable it, and like I just showed you, it turns it off, and it is off until you turn it back on. But I don't like that option because to me, disable is like a temporary stop. So watch this. I still want to hold on to it, but I don't want it to be one of my 9 auto emails. I want to move it into my saved searches. Remember, saved searches or inactive searches? I kind of want to hold on to it for future reference. So like a year or 2 from now, for whatever reason, maybe he comes back and has a question or something. Well, I still got that search criteria. Or maybe someone else comes up, wants to search the same thing, and I say, you know what? That's the same thing that John wanted or was searching for. Maybe I drew a map in there. And I don't want to have to draw that map and enter that same criteria in again because John already had a search for there. So instead of deleting it, I want to move it into my inactive searches. So this is how I do it. I'm under my auto emails, and I go to that search for John called Troy, search. If I click on settings, there's a link up here at the top that will convert this active search into an inactive search, or auto email into an inactive search. So by clicking on that, it flips, and now the saved search, remember what that was? Just give it a name. Who is it for? And save it. And notice now I only have 8 auto emails, not 9. What happened to that one? Well, it is now in my saved searches for John right there. See? Now I've got 18. Vice versa. Let's say I've got a search for John, but it's not auto prospecting. I want it to auto prospect, but it's a saved search. So all I need to do to activate it is click on that search, go to settings, and then click on that link. Now the link says the opposite. Turn this inactive search or save search into an active search, auto email. Now, okay, it's for John, carbon copy me, give it a name. We'll call it Troy search. Oop, if I can spell. Scroll down. I can say ASAP, once a day, twice a day. Let me show you the concierge mode here. Okay. Belinda, yes. To save my comparable searches, I would find them in my matrix, right. And Belinda, since you're an appraiser, when you save searches, you'll probably never save it as an auto email. You'll probably always save them as a saved search. And then they are under my matrix saved searches, or if you link it to a contact, they're up there too. So yes, Belinda. Scroll on down. Who is my client, John? Okay, let's say John is looking for something. Let's say he's looking for houses with white kitchen cabinets. Well, when I created this search, I cannot search for white kitchen cabinets. So I have to send it to myself first, look at them, look at the pictures, and then I would approve or reject them. That's where the concierge mode comes into play. So instead of sending this to John ASAP or once or twice a day, I want to pre-approve them. So watch what happens in my schedule here when I enable the concierge mode. There is no schedule. So with the enable concierge mode turned on, Matrix will alert me on my home page automatically as new matches are found. And it will also email me when there's a new match for me. So it'll send me an email saying, hey, go check it out. So if by doing this concierge mode and I save it, here are those 10 houses waiting for my approval. If I go back to the home page, I have this widget on my home page called concierge mode. There are 21 listings that need my approval. 11 of them are for Jay, 10 of them are for John. So John never sees those 10 listings until I approve them. So what I need to do is click on them, and since he's looking for white kitchen cabinets, I might need to look at the pictures. Let me move this out of the way. Scroll through and see if the listing agent gave me a picture of the cabinets here. Okay. It's kind of dark. Nope, it looks like wood grain. You know what? I'm not sure if that's, no, that's probably not the kitchen. I'm sorry. In fact, I think I just, there it is. So no white kitchen cabinets. So what I'm going to do here is select that listing and reject it. If I reject it, they never see it. If I select it, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and I approve them, boom, they get sent to John, and he sees them. So let me go back and show you under Jay's here. I've got 11 listings for Jay that I need to look at. Well, Jay is looking for the white kitchen cabinets. Now, let's say 2 months have gone by, and Jay changes his mind. You know what? I guess we can just paint those cabinets. No big deal. We're just not finding a lot, and you know what? It's crunch time. We gotta find a house. So 2 months down the road, I can still see the 30 that I have rejected in the past 2 months or 3 months or a week or 2 weeks, whatever. I can go back, since he changed his mind, look at the ones that I have rejected as long as they're still available. Now, I'm only seeing 30 rejected, but after 2 months, there might have been 60 of them rejected. We're only going to show you the ones that are still meeting his criteria. So if there's a listing that I rejected 2 months ago and it's now sold or expired or dropped out of his search criteria in any way, it's not going to be in this list anymore. So this is showing me the ones I can change my mind since he changed his mind, and now I can come in here and approve them and send it to him. So Fusion never had that option. Fusion means, Fusion, you always had to send it to yourself, and then if you liked it, you would forward it on to him. But what if 2 months went by? Did you want to go back through all your deleted histories 2 months ago and resend it to him? No. Well, we keep track of those, but that's done in the concierge mode. Okay, so that's a cool new feature. When you save an auto email, you can put it in the concierge mode. Okay, so I really like that feature, and we can answer more questions later if you guys need to on that there. Okay, that's part of that there. Hotsheets and Market Watch, and then we'll go into the client's portal after this. So Hotsheets and Market Watch here. I don't know if you know this or not. Let me move this around. You can move these little widgets around. Notice I got Hotsheets and Market Watch right here. They're almost kind of the same thing. They can work in tandem with each other. In fact, I almost kind of like the Market Watch better, but they both have their pluses and minuses. So if you're going to use the hot sheet or the Market Watch, the first thing you must do is use the Customize button. You need to customize it, because if you don't customize this and you just click on Cross Property and you left it on, let me go back here, and you notice I left it on today or 24 hours, 3 days. If I don't customize it and I click on any one of those, I get the entire MLS. Okay? So you probably don't want that. So what you might want to do is first go to Customize, then pick your property type. I'm going to pick residential here, and then edit its criteria. With that property type, and then you hit edit, then you say, okay, what type of changes do I want to see? Maybe in this one I only have, well, maybe I want, if you want everything, then don't pick anything. Or you could pick the first one and hold down the shift key and pick the last. That picks everything. But why do that? Why not just leave it blank? Because if you want everything, just leave it blank and go on to the fields you do want to see. Let's say I want everything, but I don't want mutual release. Hold down your control, and I don't also want leased properties. I'll take everything else but those two. Well, I can pick those two and say not, and I won't get those two. I will get everything else. Or I could have said, hold down my shift key and pick everything, and then hold down my control and deselect those two and leave it on or. So whichever way you want to go, you can do that there. I'm actually going to get rid of everything here. I want all types of changes, but I want, let's just do Miami County here. Okay? I want Miami County, and I don't care. I want all areas of Miami County. So I just pick Miami County. I don't have to pick all the 700 numbers here, just Miami County. And that's it. So I'm just going to hit save. So this right here is residential listings, all changes just for Miami County. So I might want to rename this and call it Miami CO. Okay. Now what I could do, I want a second residential one, but I want it to be for Clark County. Well, I don't see Clark County up here, and I don't see a second residential. Well, I can go and hit add and add a second residential one and go to the criteria and say, you know what, this one, I want it to be Clark County. Same thing, all types of changes here, and save it. But now since I have two residentials, I might want to rename this one also and say Clark County and hit save. I might want to highlight this one and move it up and put it right under that one. Now I don't use industrial commercial, so I might just want to delete that one. And I don't do farm, so I get rid of farm. Don't do land, get rid of land. And multifamily, just kind of cleaning this up a little bit. Get rid of cross property too. Okay. Mobile and so forth. Okay. And condos. So you can kind of do that there too. And now when I go back to done, see I have two hot sheets. One for residential, well both of them for residential. One's just for Miami County, one's just for Clark. So if I go here and I say 24 hours, I click on Miami County, that's all Miami counties, new listings, expired listings, price decreases, pendings, all right there. If I go to Clark County, 24 hours, you notice I have all the new listings, price changes, pendings, etc. for Clark County. Okay. Now watch the market watch. Let's kind of keep that same logic going. I want to do residential properties, but I want to customize it. Now you'll notice here you only have one property type here. You cannot have 2 or 3 residentials. Here I can have 2 or 3 residentials. Here I'm just going to say residential, and since I only have one, but I like these 2 counties, watch what I can do here. I can hit customize and pick Clark, hold down my control and pick Miami County. Notice I got both of them up here, and hit save. Now I know because I customize this, see here it says reset, I can see within the last 24 hours, there are 8 new listings in Clark and Miami County. This up here, I'd have to click on Miami County and see there's 1, 2, 3 new listings, and then click on Clark, there must be 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new listings there. But if I look at my market watch, it tells me there's 8 total. So this is more of a visual. I can just see there's 8 new listings in my, Clark and Miami, where here I actually have to click on them and go in. But here we got them broken down by types of changes. So it's really whatever flavor you like. I mean, this one here, I can do multiple ones. And by the way, I can go into Customize, add a new residential hot sheet, edit criteria, and I could have said new listings only, and I could have also said Clark, hold down my control Miami, save it, and then here, let me rename this. Let me say new listings, Clark and Miami. So however you want to play with this, you can, but that's how it works. So now if I click on that, guess how many new listings I should see? I should see 8. So if I click on it, there's 8 new listings. Here, if I click on it, I still see the 5, but also see expireds and stuff. So like I said, it's however you want to use these two, but they could work in tandem with you, with each other there. So I really hope that explains the hot sheet and the market watch. Let me do this one last thing. I have seen in the question, in the survey that we did, and hopefully staying still awake on here. On this hot sheet, you notice we got property type here, residential, which obviously, because my hot sheet was residential, but I'd seen a couple questions on the survey. Can we add city field to this? Okay, so I don't know. That's something we'll have to discuss and see. Well, we want to be careful. We don't want to add too many fields to this, and if you like city on this and we decide not to add city to this hot sheet grid, remember what you can do. Remember, you can just click on any column and you can insert any field. Well, you can add city yourself without having RIST add it for you. So I'm going to add the city field because I like it and RIST doesn't want to add it for me, so I will add it to myself. And once I create this, make sure you save it. And I'm just going to leave it the same name and call it Save as Copy, because now you can see it's called My Copy of Hot Sheets. In fact, let me go back into here and take out Copy Of and save it. See, it now says My Hot Sheet, not the original hot sheet. So what I can do now is set this as my default. And then every time it comes up, it's going to use my hot sheet grid where I added the field called city here. So it doesn't matter if RIST does this or not. I can make this however I want it to be. Okay. So that's the hot sheets and the market watch out there. Okay. Now when I did that market watch, notice when I clicked on new listings, 8. Here are the 8 new listings, but right here I can open this up and I can say, show me the expired listings. Show me the one back on market here. Okay, so that works right there. Okay. Belinda, I might need to answer that question a little later there. Okay. That might be your answer, Belinda, might be under stats or market reports. You're talking about statistical trends in specific areas and stuff like that. Yeah, that's probably under stats and market reports there. I'll keep your question there. So, hopefully that answers your questions on hot sheets and market watch. Okay, and feel free to type in questions if I didn't answer that there. Okay, what is my favorite searches? Ooh, good question. Good question, Angie. Let me show you. That's kind of, I tell you what, let's save that to the end, Angie. I will show you favorite searches. I'm making a note here, favorites, because I want to keep it in order of our searches here. Okay, client portals. Client portals. Now, when I save those searches and I email those to John and Susan, when John and Susan open that search up, remember I said they get that little welcome message, and then they scroll down and I said they need to click on that link. When they click on that link, it takes them to their portal. Okay, this is their portal. It's got your banner up here. Hopefully you've already added your banner. Hopefully you've already done your signatures. That's something after we do CMAs. I will show you how to update your information section there. Now, remember John and Susan had 3 searches. They had one for Piqua. They had one for Troy. Actually, what I need, there we go, and Tip City. Okay, so they had one for Tip City, they had one for Piqua, and they had one for Troy. Plus, didn't I also send them a regular email with 5 listings in it? There it is. So their portal is a consolidation of everything you've ever sent them. And what your client could do, they could bookmark this as one of their favorite pages, and then they don't have to wait for me to email them again. They can go up and see what's currently matching, see if any of those houses have changed price or status here. Okay. Now, this is the first view they see when John and Susan receive their auto emails from me. They see it in a single line display. They can go up to display and choose maybe the thumbnail view, which I kind of like the thumbnail view. I think it looks good. They can come up and choose the multi-row view. They can choose the detail view. Now the detail view only shows one listing at a time, but they can scroll through and look at them one at a time like this. Okay. They can go up here and choose the display called split. Map on the left, thumbnail view on the right. Whatever view John and Susan leave this at is the view they will always see it at until they change it again. And you notice the views they have choices. These are all the client-friendly reports. Never do we show them the agent detail views, okay? Because the client should not see an agent detail report or the listing agent's name and number on there. So just tell your client to pick the view that they like, and as long as they leave it there, that's always what they're going to be. Now, what they're going to need to do next is start saving listings. So like this listing on Park Avenue, if they like this house, they should save it as a favorite or as a possibility. And if they don't like this house, they should reject it. This is the same idea that Fusion and ML Exchange has done for many years out there, that they need to have done this with those systems also. And a lot of people didn't realize Fusion and ML Exchange had to do that. Well, they did. Now, if they don't pick anything here, and this house sells or expires, it will automatically disappear from this list here. And they might call me up and say, Keith, what happened to 1808 Park Avenue? I like that house. Well, if you would have saved it as one of those two, it would have stayed in your list, and then you could see that it's now sold here. But because you didn't save it, it disappears. If they get tired of seeing it, tell them to hit the trash can here, because when it gets refreshed, you'll notice Park Avenue is not in there anymore because they rejected it. So they kind of need to monitor this, and all it does, if I move this out of the way, all it does, I don't know if everyone can see this on the far right-hand side, it throws the favorites here, the possibilities here, and the trash can ones here. So it just filters that for them. They can go over here and say, you know what, just show me the Tip City ones, just show me the Piqua ones, just show me the Troy ones, or show me all of them right here. They can click on the MLS number, and that will just change the display to the full view. And then they can hit this back to results. It takes you back. And what they can also do is click on the photo and see the photos. And if this listing agent had put a description down below, they would see the description here. Let's see, and then the next one is the map. They can open up, see the map. They can also see the Google Street View here too. Okay. Now you notice they cannot click on the parcels and see the owner's name and lot dimensions. That's only for you as an agent there. Now here it says, look, you have unread notes. So they actually can go back to this welcome tab, and they see their 2 direct emails I sent them. They see the notes me or they have left for each other. They see their 3 searches over here, and they can do their own searching for properties. Over here, they can see my active listings and they can see my office listings. And then down below, they can see all their favorites they have saved down here. So you got two tabs up here. Okay, but that's that's the client's portal. I really like it. And let you know, in a few more months from now, I don't know exactly when, it could be sooner or a little bit later, but it's going to get a little bit of a makeover, this client's portal. And it's supposed to be a little more user-friendly, a little more visually enhanced a little bit there. So when that does happen, I'll probably create a little video showing you all the enhancements that have changed. We'll post it for you on the news and alerts section, so you'll know about the new changes as they come about. So we'll try to keep you informed on that. But that is the client's portal. Okay, right before we do CMAs, I just want to go in and add and modify listings, just to show you just a couple of little tricks here. So to add a listing or to modify a listing, you just go under Add Edit, and you click on Add New, obviously, to add a new listing, and then you pick on your property type. If you want to add a listing that is a for sale by owner and you sold it, well, it doesn't get added directly as a residential. It gets added directly as a non-MLS residential listing. So that means it's sold directly because it was never listed because it was a for sale by owner. But here you just pick residential. Then it says, okay, do you want to auto-populate it from Real List? Well, you pick your county, street number, street name. This is a copy feature. And Stan, if you're still awake on this, I thought we were going to change this to copy from cross property. So we might need to talk to Joanne about getting that changed to copy. But that's where you go in, and as long as it's your listing, type in the MLS or search for it, and it'll make a copy of your previous listing. That way you don't have to re-enter it again and again. It'll just make a copy. And then last but not least is start with a blank listing. But we encourage you to auto-populate it. But if it's not in one of these 15 counties, you're going to have to start with a blank listing. But if it is in the 15 counties, then we encourage you to pick the county, type in a street number, type in a street name, market, and then when you hit search, it'll find it, then hit fill, and it's going to put in as much information from that property as possible. As you can see, it's got my name here. One of the big things I want to show you here is go to the General tab, and you notice once you give us a street number, street name, and zip code, you can scroll down and you can hit this Get Lat Long from Address. And now it maps it to the best that it's capable of. But please do yourself a favor and everyone else. After it maps it, please hit the Set Lat Long manually and see if it's correct. Because if it's listed, in fact you can kind of zoom out here, if it's not in the right city, because I see a lot of listings that are mapped up in Piqua that should be in Troy or vice versa. So please check it and make sure your listings are mapped right. And if it's wrong, you can always change this here. Okay. Oop. Hang on a second here. So as I scroll down here, and you notice it gives me the parcel lines. So I can always click on a parcel and see if it's the address, right address or not. So if I click on that one, there we go. Just tells me yes it is. Okay. But you can just grab it and move it and drop it where you want it at. And then you're going to hit the Done button here. Once it's mapped correctly, then you can use the Google Street View as long as Google has been there. Now, a lot of times the Google Street View is like this. It's kind of looking between two houses, and sometimes you're looking at the sky. But you can just move this around. You can even scoot down the street a little bit and kind of look at it that way. Sometimes it may be actually behind you here. The house might be back there. Sometimes your Google Street View is looking down the street. So check it and get this right, because you want to represent this listing and give it to them in the best light possible there. Okay? And then once you've got it set, just hit OK, and you're done. Okay? Then you can go, your rooms, your features. I think everything else is really pretty self-explanatory here. You can, once you fill out all the required fields, then obviously you're going to submit it, but you can save it as incomplete. And even though it's an incomplete listing, you can still add your attachments and your photos before it goes live. So now you can add this, search for your listings, and now you can add up to 100 photos per listing, which is a lot. So I don't think a lot of us will do that. And like I said, you can go in here and let's see my house here. You can add as high quality photos as possible. There is, as far as I know, I've never seen a photo that was rejected because it was too big. So just to let you know, Fusion had to be, sometimes it would tell you it was too big and you had to resize it, so you should never have that problem anymore. So just let me pick some of these listings. You can hold down your control button and select them all at one time and hit open, and then it's going to drop them in here. And then to reorder these photos, once it's done, is just grab the header and just drop them where you want them to go. Okay. Then if you click on the photo itself, it opens it up, and you can use the rotate button if you need to and rotate it. You can hit enter a description and give us a description of this house. I think that's an excellent thing to do. Say done and then hit save. And then to delete a photo, just put a check mark next to it and then say delete checked. And then when you're done, obviously just hit save. And your listing is saved. Now once you've got a listing, if you want to modify it, just go back to add edit, open up your box and pick that listing, and it opens it back up. Now you can change the price, change the status, change anything you need to, add your attachments, add the photos and stuff like that there. Okay. All right, let's get into CMAs now. CMAs. Well, CMAs are pretty much just like it was in Fusion. There was two ways to do a CMA in Fusion, and there's two ways to do a CMA in Matrix. The first way is not the way I like it. I like to do it the second way. So just kind of let me get started here with the first way. The first way is to go to My Matrix, go to My CMAs, and then click on Start a New CMA. Then you get all these tabs up here, but it's not until step 5, it's not until you get to step 5 where it asks you to search for the comps. Well, that's one way, and let me delete this here. And you're going to see that screen again, so bear with me just a second. So that's the first and official way of doing a CMA. The way I like to do it is just go to search, pick your property type, and search for your comps. So here you're going to say active, contingent, pendings, and solds. Then you're going to say, well, I want listings in Troy. I want them with 3 bedrooms. I want them with 2 full baths. I want them with 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to search for comps. That's something you kind of need to know how to search for. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you some guidelines here. And I want solds. I want them within the last 6 months. The same with actually pendings. It doesn't matter. As long as they're pending, I want them. So I'm going to take that status out. I could say, well, you know what? They're all 1-story houses. So let me pick 1-story houses. And they've all got 1-car garage. Oop, let's say they got 2-car garage. There we go, 35. And so forth. I mean, you could go in and add so much more fields in here. But to save us time, once you do your search, you're going to go to the Results tab, and now what you need to do is pick the comps that you want. Here are my actives, my contingent, my pendings, my sold. So I'm going to go through and just pick the ones I think are good ones. And then I'm going to pick some solds in here. Now once you do all this work, which is the most important part of your CMA, you've got two options. You've got this CMA button and you've got a quick CMA option. If you pick on the quick CMA option, this opens up and just kind of gives you a real basic page. There's all your comps. There's all your three actives and your three solds, and kind of gives you some calculations down below. And some people like that for their CMA. And we do also have this here. Instead of the quick CMA, you can hit stats and hit tabular, and it kind of breaks it down this way, and you can print that out also. Some people kind of like that one. But if you want to do a full CMA, not just a quick one-pager or a stats one-page stats page, you can hit the CMA page here, or CMA button down here. And it's going to take these 6 listings into the CMA. And remember this, it has all these tabs up here. But watch, once I pick my client, and let me just do John and Susan again, I go to pages. You notice all these are not lit up. They're not lit up because I don't have any pages here. So over here are my pages I can add. Well, we have a section called cover page. So I can add that cover sheet or this cover sheet. Under the subject and adjustments, we have a summary list. Just by clicking on it, pulls it over, and clicking on that one pulls it over. Now, what I suggest to do is let's use all pages just the first time. So instead of clicking each one individually, if I click on that section's header, it pulls them all over for me. So let's do that with static pages also, and let's do that with a map. So my recommendation is to pull all pages over because we don't know what they look like. So pull them all over, and then when we get to our finish, we can look at them, and then I can come back and take out the pages I don't like. Okay? And because now I have pages in here, look at all my other tabs. They all lit up for me because I have pages in here. If you have a CMA package with no pages, then you don't have a reason to go to those tabs up there. That's the concept behind that there. Now, here are all the pages. You notice there's 2 cover sheets here. If I don't like our cover sheets, I can upload over here my own custom sheets. So if you've got your own pages that you like and you don't like ours, upload your own. Okay. So I've got all these pages here. I can select one. I can hit the X to get rid of it, and I can use the arrow to move it up and move it down and put it in the order that I like them in. Next, I go from pages to subject. Here, I can type in my subject property manually. Type in the address. In fact, let me click on it. Type in the address, street number, street name, and all this information here. Let me go back. Second, I can do a search for it. If I know the MLS number because it was listed before the subject property, well, I can just search for it and populate it. Or I can do a cross-property search for it, or I can search the tax records for it. And by searching the tax records, I give it a street name, county, and street number, and I can search for it that way there. Okay, and it'll populate it. But I really encourage you to fill this in because on the side-by-side views, you'll see them, the subject property with each of the comps, and it'll kind of look nice and neat. But if you leave this blank, the first column will be blank because there's nothing to compare it to. So I think that's kind of a nice thing to do on this CMA here. The next page is the cover sheet, has a picture of the property, has the client's address, has my contact information here. You'll notice that when I go to step 5 here, the comps, they're already picked because remember I picked that, I did my search first and I picked them. So now they're in here. But I can add listings from a tax search. So I can click on this and search for that for sale by owner and add it into my CMA there. Okay, so that's what that part is there. I can go to map and see all of my properties where they're mapped at. Now Notice one of them is way up here, so I didn't do a good job of picking comps. I can go to adjustments, and here's my 6 houses. And my subject property up here, if I had put in information, you can see how they are. And then the adjustments is, I could add or subtract money here, okay? Or put a negative sign, and that would subtract value there. Okay, a lot of people don't get into the adjustments here. You really need to know how much to adjust for bathrooms or bedrooms or this or that, but this gives you the ability to do that. It's just you'll need to know how much to put in there. Okay, pricing. Here's your comps. Down here, suggested price. You say, okay, I think we should list this house for $100,000. And then if you come down below, we have a notes section, and you can type in why you came up with that decision. And then when you go to the Finish tab, here are all your pages. You can view the CMA, and it's going to open up all those pages there. And because I had a lot of pages, give it a second here. Here we go. So there's my first cover sheet. There's my second one. There's my next page, my next page. Remember, I didn't have a subject property, so that first column is blank, and then that. So that's why you'd want to probably fill that in there. And scrolling through, there's all your comps and pages and stuff like that. I do like our CMAs in here. Okay. And if you go back, if there's any pages I don't like, let's say I like that second cover sheet, but I didn't like the first, I can just get rid of it. And then when you're done, you like it, just make sure you save this here. And now when you go to My Matrix, My CMAs, that CMA is in there for me. Okay. Alrighty. Well, pretty much it with CMAs. We will open this up to question and answer. I know we're pretty much right at time here. My information, though. Let's talk about my information. If you haven't done this already, please do this. Go to My Matrix, My Information. When you click on that, please make sure all this information looks good and change it if you need to. Then go to the header and footer. Remember I said I had my banner already set up? Well, down here at the bottom I can hit select different package. When you first come in, you may have that first one chosen. I don't choose to pick one. Well, please pick one. Pick one of these here. I'm going to pick the blue one. You can, FYI later, and you can always reach out to us, but you can always upload your own banner, okay? So you can talk to Stan or myself, and we'll be glad to help you. But for now, just pick one of these. And then when you hit preview, you won't have a photo in here. And see, all this information is coming from that first tab called Information. So if you want, use Custom Photo and then hit Change Photo here. And you hit Change Photo, and then you get to browse your computer, find your photo, and then you can crop it the way you like it here. Just make sure you scroll down and save it when it cancel there. And then you'll also notice you also get a print header also, one for your website and one for printing. So make sure you have that set up. Then we also have a mobile header. A mobile header is when your clients open it up on their cell phone. So make sure this looks good, no photo or with the photo, and you can change it. Here you can just pick the information that you want it to show and make sure you save it. Then you got a CMA cover sheet, which I didn't fill in. You got your portal information. Now over here you got my active listings. I could also say my pending and my sold listings and my office listings. I'm just going to say those two there and save it. Here is your email signature. Please make sure you put this in, and yes, you can even put your photo in there too. And then make sure you save it. And we do give you a website just like you had in Fusion. It's not just like it, but it is a website that you can use out here. And I won't go through all of that unless people have questions on that there. And I think it was Angie that had the question, and Dave will answer your question here in a second. Angie asked a question about favorite searches. Okay, Well, what you could do, let's say I do a search, and let's say I like to do a map shape. Well, when I click on a map search, first of all, you notice you probably get this from time to time. You get all these little pins or buttons in your way, balloons in your way. Well, first of all, if I want to go in and draw my own shape around Troy, you notice it gets kind of distracting because I got all these pins in my way. Well, if I go back to criteria, what I could do is do an MLS number 0. How many listings with MLS number 0 will I find? None. I won't find any listings. So what that does, it hides all those little pins. Now I could come in here and draw my own shape around the part of town. And let's say this shape I'm drawing is a shape that I use all the time. And it takes me 20-25 minutes to draw this shape. I don't want to have to draw this shape all the time. So my idea is draw it one time, save it as a favorites, and then whenever someone wants to live in this shape that I just drew, I'll just pull it up. It's like a little template. That's what the favorite searches are. So once I got my shape right, don't forget to go back to criteria and take out MLS number 0. Now when I go back to my map, there you go. So the only thing I have on this search that I want to save as a favorites is active contingent with a map. So once I'm satisfied with this, just go to my results and save it as a new saved search. Give it a name, my favorite map search. Now it does not belong to any client. This is just a template for me to use for any client. There's an option to say yes or to enable it as one of my favorites on my home page. And then when I hit save, you'll notice here on my home page, I've got a new one called My Favorite Map Search. So if John and Susan call me up and they want to look for a house, and I know exactly the area they're talking about because I hear it all the time, and I already drew my map around there, all I have to do is click on it, and there's the results. I might have to go back to criteria and put in their price range, 200,000 to 300,000, maybe their beds and baths, 4 or more houses, but I don't have to draw that shape again. It's already done for me. And go to results. Now for John and Susan, I might need to save it as a new auto prospecting, but I don't need to update that map search because it's a favorite of mine. Okay. So Angie, I hope that answered that for you out there. But I think that's a neat feature there. Dave, from main page under status, then under, you're welcome, Angie. There's a button that opens a counter showing a date range. I don't understand this works. Let's see. On the main page under the status, then the right to sold button, open a counter. I'm not sure. You're on this main page, right, Dave? I'm not sure. Yes.
I think he's on the search page.
Oh, okay. And the main.
For statuses there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Maybe under search. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dan. Right of search is opens a counter. Yeah. I don't understand how this works. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, so if I pick solds, instead of 180 days back, I can open this up, and yeah, I get this a lot. I actually don't like using this map thing, but what it does is I can go back, let's say January 1st, and pick on January 1st. Then today is December 7th, so let me click on today, December 7th. Now, see right here, December 7th, I can click on it. Now it fills everything in from January 1st to December 7th. Now this arrow, I'm not really sure how that arrow works, but I can do it like that, or like that, or like that. And then when I'm done, hit OK. I think it's almost easier, Dave, just to type it in, maybe. But that's what the counter is. You can go, that goes back a year at a time. See, 15, 14, 13, 12. So if I want to go back to December 7th of 2012 to December 7th of today, the last 4 years, I can do it that way and see. But it's almost as easy for me just to type it in too. But does that help, Dave? Okay, thanks, Dave, for answering that. Marcia or Marcia, I think it's Marcia. How do I change remarks on an active listing? Change remarks on an active listing. Oh, okay, yeah. You go to active or add. You open this up. You pick your active listing. And then, now I understand this kind of is confusing. Well, I don't want to change price or status or anything like that. Well, I go back into the original form, residential. And now I go to the remarks tab and I change the remarks right there. And when I'm done, I submit it. So I do understand it's not, you know, but hopefully now that makes sense. Now that you know, I hope that makes sense there. Okay, thanks, Marcia. Anyone else? Questions? We did have a lot of covered on here. When you exit, when you leave this webinar, by the way, you will have a survey or a survey where you can answer if this is helpful, if it wasn't helpful, if you need more of these, maybe more specific ones, something like that. So please fill that out. We appreciate your feedback on that. But anything else, anyone? And just remember, we'll record this so other people can watch it later. So pass the word if someone couldn't make it, or watch it again if you need to. But any other questions? Covered a lot of stuff. I really hope this makes Matrix easier for you guys. For those that are still on, if you were struggling with Matrix, did this really help you? That would be nice to know. Because you know, I mean, as a trainer, I'm passionate about making sure you like this system and can navigate through it and stuff. So I really want to make sure you're doing fine with this here. Anything else? Anyone else? We're at 18. We're up to 30 something earlier. Now we're slowly dropping people off. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being on here. Spread the word. We got another one. It's pretty much the same thing, but of course there's different questions and stuff on there. So Friday morning, 10 to noon. So be sure to pass the word if someone couldn't make this. And if there's something I could do better that I, you know, for the next one, let us know too. Okay. And go from there. All right. Well, thanks you guys. Appreciate it.